guys, and welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be about a very serious topic: depression. Now this is something that I experience personally. I tend to go through manic then crash cycles, and I've just come out of a depressive episode recently. So what I was hoping to do is share some tips with you to help you bring you out of the darkness and into the light again. So in no way do I want this video to sound patronizing at all. I know how debilitating depression can be, and I know how hard it is to get out of its clutches, but it is possible. And what I'm hoping to do is to inspire you today, to give you the strength and the hope to take the steps to get yourself back into a good headspace again. I mean, everyone wants to be happy in life, right? And that can be particularly difficult at the moment during times like this where you may start to lose your way or lose your purpose. But the good news is there are some simple, easy to implement steps that you can start to really help alleviate your depressive symptoms and to start feeling happier from today. So some of these tips are generic ones that you may have heard before, but they've got my own spin on it. And some of them are things I've just learned personally through my journey and things that help for me and that maybe you can implement too. So I'm going to be sharing 6 tips today, and I advise that you watch right through to the end so you can pick which ones are going to work for you. We'll also be uploading an upcoming video soon about how to be happier in life in general, but today's video is purely based on getting yourself out of a depressive episode. So I've got to say this before we start: I'm not a doctor, and if you experience chronic or severe depression or suicidal thoughts, I really advise you to seek medical advice, because you may benefit from treatment or medication due to imbalances in the brain. Now I actually do use these tips combined with my medication to help level my brain out, and what I really like about it is it helps bring a sense of control back into your life and practical steps that you can take to help you get yourself back into a good mindset again. So this video will prove useful, hopefully, for if you are stuck in the middle of an episode currently and you want to grab back the reins of your life again, or if you find yourself just stuck in a negative rut in general and you want to get back your motivation and your positivity for life, and maybe if you just find it difficult at the moment to carry out your day-to-day tasks just due to depression. Just to make it clear, I do still suffer from depressive episodes or slumps, as I like to call them. But what I am aiming to do is share with you these 6 tips today of quick, easy to implement strategies, if you like, to help you get your life back and get yourself back on track. So let's dive into the video. So tip number 1 is journaling. Now this is something I do day in, day out, whether my mood be good, bad or indifferent. And the great thing about this is you can do it from the comfort of your own bed or your safe space, wherever that may be. So what I like to do is invest in a nice new notebook. I like ones with inspiring messages on, because that helps me personally, but you can pick whatever works for you, and maybe some posh pens too if you're into stationery. And what it is, you can basically just write about anything. You can write about what's on your mind, how you're feeling, your mood, whatever, and it's a really cathartic experience. You basically need to just write whatever comes out when you put pen to paper, and the great thing is it really helps get out all these overwhelming thoughts, anxieties, worries, negativity. It just gets it out there and onto the paper itself, and that can really be quite a relieving experience. And another thing about journaling is quite often it'll give me a brainwave, if you like. So what it can do is it can help me identify a trigger that may have caused a depression or a pattern of behavior that's keeping me stuck in this negative mindset and unable to get better. You can even take this one step further if you like. I do analysis on my journaling, but you don't have to. But what I mean by that is I record how much I'm sleeping, so like my wake up times and stuff, because obviously that's part of self-care, which I'll get to later on in the video. And with depression it can be hard to fall asleep. Listen to ASMR, that will help. And I even color code my calendar based on my mood for that day, so I can identify trends and really get to the root cause of the problem. You don't have to take it to this level if you don't want to, though. You can simply write as much as you're comfortable with. So that could be pages and pages with analysis of what you've found out through the writing, or it could simply be a paragraph, just whatever works for you. So tip number 2 is to set 3 goals for yourself per day. Now the key here is to be realistic and not to over push yourself. The great thing about this tip is it means you can really take a proactive approach to helping kick depression to the curb. The way I do this is I start off super steady, and my 3 goals for the day in the beginning stages will mainly revolve around self-care and moving away from isolating myself and back to connecting with others again. I will give some examples to explain this. Now, during my lowest periods, I do find the basics very, very difficult to tackle, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. But I don't like the thought of doing absolutely nothing with my day and basically letting depression win. So 3 examples I might set myself in the early stages are, I don't know, maybe washing my hair, applying my creams to my skin, and taking my pots downstairs from my bedroom. And I know these sound like extremely small steps, but self-care is just so important, and it's something I've struggled with before, and I've ended up, due to not looking after my hair, having to cut a huge chunk out. So I try and keep these things covered now. And what you can do is, once you start to build a bit of momentum, you can build it up from here. What you can do once you've covered the basics and you're starting to feel a bit more able is to push yourself a bit further with the 3 goals you set yourself per day. So you could sort of progress on to calling your friend for a chat about how you're feeling, or maybe even inviting them over if you feel up to it, or blitzing just one room with a house, so like doing the washing up and wiping all the surfaces down, for an example. These are just a few ideas, but what it is, the key here is that it's personalized to you, so you can pick whatever 3 goals per day that are going to work to take you to get back to where you want to be again. Another reason that setting 3 goals per day can really work to help with depression is it gives you a bit of structure back to your day again. So instead of having an empty day in front of you when you wake up, which makes me feel worse because it gives me no direction for the day, you've got some kind of focus and some idea on what you're going to be doing. So what it's about is building momentum with these small wins, as I like to call them, with each of your achievements. And what will happen is, over time, you'll start to find moments of positivity and joy coming back into your life again. So tip number 3 is respect your body and self-care. Now, this is one of the areas I struggle with the most. So referring back to the setting 3 goals per day tip, that's why I tend to revolve them in the early stages around self-care to really help give me the motivation to get these things done. So the one thing that I do seem to be able to manage to do during a depressive episode is brush my teeth. I've already lost an eye, so I don't plan on losing any teeth as well. But the other things, so such as like having a bath, putting clean clothes on, washing my hair, applying my creams, just seemed literally nearly impossible. And when I was left to my own devices, I was in a bad way. I mean, I was riddled with eczema. I still get some of that going on now, but nothing like it used to be. And I was extremely thin and malnourished, and it just, because eating comes under self-care, and I wasn't very good with that either. So the thing is, if you don't keep on top of this, it's going to make you feel unclean, uncomfortable, and unwell. So it is extremely important to make this a priority. In all truth, I still need prompting with self-care sometimes now. And when I'm really struggling, I do get help with this. So for example, my mum will wash my hair for me. My best friend will pick out some fresh clothes for me to wear, things like that. And in terms of food, I'd either not want to eat at all, or when I would, I'd just get in a takeaway because I simply wouldn't have the energy to cook. But if you do practice your self-care, then the main thing is it's going to bring you comfort, and you can be comfortable whilst you recover. Dealing with a specialist eating disorder team recently, they explained to me the link between eating and mental health, and I completely flat out denied this at first. I didn't believe it, I wouldn't believe it, but they explained the science behind it, and now it completely makes sense. So good nutrition and making these healthy choices is really going to help with your recovery. So even though it might be difficult, do your best to try and eat nutritional, well-balanced meals, because that's really going to help with your brain power and getting you back on track physically, as well as get you feeling better a lot quicker. If you're unable to go out and get the food for yourself, which I do understand can be difficult during depression, then see if you can get someone that can potentially go pick the items up for you that you need. And then what you can do is just push yourself from the comfort of your home to prepare these meals, which is another step in the right direction. And honestly, good nutrition really does help out. It's taken me a long time to learn, and 100%, yeah, if you can eat right, it's going to help you get better quicker. I know it's easier said than done, but try and make it a priority. So I'm sure you've heard about the benefits of exercise too, and I am an absolute advocate for exercise to help your mental health, 100%. But I do understand that this is not always possible during a depressive episode. I go through the same thing myself. I'm an avid gym goer, but when it hits, I'm just not physically able to do that. But what you need to do is just find some way of implementing something into your day. So a way I make it work is my dad will take me for a walk around the block. Sometimes we incorporate picking my food up into that as well. So it's like killing two birds with one stone. And even that 10 minutes of fresh air, just getting myself outside, honestly makes me feel more human. Taking in the scenery around me, breathing in the fresh air truly helps. And honestly, I know it sounds like a challenge, but it makes the world of difference. 10 minutes will even do. Now, I've really got to add this under self-care, and that is avoid drugs and alcohol. Now, in the past, I have totally been guilty of engaging in self-destructive behaviours to try help get me through a low period, and every single time it's made me feel 100% worse. All it's done is it's prolonged my recovery. It's taken so much more energy and effort to even get back to a baseline to get better again, and it's just, I know it's difficult, but it's so not worth it. The best way to do is stay as healthy as you can physically to heal yourself as quickly as possible mentally. So if you can, please avoid drugs and alcohol. I'd say always, but definitely during a depressive episode. So tip number 4 is to practice gratitude. And look who's decided to join us for the video. My kitten. So with this one, I'm sure you've heard of it before, and it's one of the quickest and easiest ways to make yourself happier every single day. So what it basically involves is being aware of the things you have in life that you are grateful for. So it's easy for people to roll their eyes at this one and say, well, I've got nothing to be grateful for, but that simply isn't true. If you do a little digging, you will realize that you have in abundance possessions, qualities, and experiences that other people envy. So what this is about is focusing on being grateful for the things you have rather than longing for the things that you may not have yet. To help me with this, I created a gratitude bucket, and basically what I do, and I do this every single day, is I put in 3 things I am grateful for that day. So if you can't think of anything off the top of your head straight away, that's fine. You can go on Google and find some templates. That's how I started until I got into the swing of it, and then started tailoring them to my life. And the key here really is focus on the details. So don't just say, I'm happy for my friends, or I'm happy for my health. You got to write about how they add value to your life. So an example for me, I've got one eye, right? I've got a false eye. So I could get really down about that, but I've got to write about how grateful I am to have still one fully functioning eye. I'm still able to see, I'm still able to carry out my work. So you've got to basically switch your mindset round. So if you're in a period where you're really maybe feeling a bit sorry for yourself, or like you've got nothing going for you, this will switch it back round so quickly, and you will realize in abundance just all the great things that you have. It's a really good tip is this, and I swear by it. As I'm saying, you want to make this a daily practice. It'll take you around 10 to 15 minutes per day, which is absolutely nothing if you think about it, to give you your mental health and positivity back. So yeah, make it a daily practice. And a good quote to end this tip on is, it's not the happy people that are grateful, it's the grateful people that are happy. Number 5 is to make a plan. And the great thing about this tip is it's similar to the first one about journaling. It's something you can do from the comfort of your own bed. It requires minimal physical exertion, and what you can do is start with your baby steps and then add to it as you start to feel better and get your zest for life back. So what happens with me during the worst of my depressive episodes is I get behind on my tasks and projects and goals and things like that, but making a plan and writing it down means that nothing sort of gets forgotten about, and you know it's all still there for you to start working on again once you feel ready and able. So it just gives me that sense of control back, which I find really helpful and gives me peace of mind and clarity as well. As a constructive way to really push against the depression and get back into a positive mindset, I write myself out an action plan of exactly what I'm going to do as I start to feel better. So the great thing about this, take it at your own pace. add to it as and when you can. So you can start off with the baby steps, like with the self-care that we discussed earlier, and you can start adding to that as you build in the momentum. And what's great about this is it takes a bit of the pressure off of the things that I'm not maybe able to get complete right now, the things that I'm falling behind on, because I know they're still covered, and it gives me a direction to be heading in, and knowing that they're still there waiting for me and ready to be embarked on once I feel back able to do so again. So I'm not trying to say that you've got to plan out your whole life and then go and get it during a depressive episode, because that's just not realistic. The aim here is to think of a few tips that are going to make you feel happier and healthier mentally and physically, and then just starting to implement them during your days. So like I was saying, it gives you a bit of leeway during the times that you may be not able to go after your bigger goals and things like that, because it's still all written down and they're waiting for you when you're ready. And this is just a great stepping stone from getting out of this depressive rut back into some kind of routine, normality, and really getting on your way back to being where you need to be. So you can plan out from where you are now, where you want to be at the end, and then each day just assess how you're feeling and what steps you can take based on this plan to get yourself to where you need to be. So just as an example, I would start off with the basics with this plan. So getting the essentials covered, like say, if anything I've fallen behind on, like if I needed to pick anything up from the shops, like cosmetic based or anything like that, or health based. And then what I do is I move on to more life and work based projects in this plan. So I might have things like writing a chapter for my book, or pushing myself to get back into a workout schedule, or prepping for a YouTube video. The key here is I don't actually put a time scale or a deadline on it. I just do what I feel comfortable with and when, and it helps take the pressure off. But it also, having these ideas and moving towards them, helps you feel like you're grasping back the control of your life again. And it's just a really fulfilling and rewarding experience as you see yourself progress from the start of your plan and implementing it and getting to where you want to be. Number 6, the final tip for this video, is to ask for help. And people can seem really reluctant to do this during periods of time where they're struggling, myself included. But I've learned over time that it's absolutely vital, because what it does is it helps you make a speedy recovery. So what you need to do, if you've got one, hopefully you have, is to lean on your support network. And people can help you out with things. So I'm very lucky because I've got my dad and my best friend, so they can help out with things such as getting my food shopping for me, and helping tidy my room and things like that. But even if you don't feel up to meeting anyone physically, which I completely understand, if you just need that time to yourself, I know this sounds counterproductive, but social media can actually be really helpful, because you can just log on and chat to people, but you don't have to actually physically be around them if you're really not feeling up to it, and it still helps you keep connected and keep sociable. So because I struggle to be active and see people face to face during the lowest periods for me, what I do is I log onto Facebook and I will just chat to people I know and trust on there. I'll chat to them about what's on my mind, so get that off my chest, how I'm feeling, and what they can either do is just listen if that's what you're looking for, or they can offer practical advice, and it can help give a different perspective to your problems and help you see things in a different light, which can be really helpful. Another thing is it can help you feel connected to others, because loneliness on top of depression is not a good mix. And what it will do is, by building these connections back and socializing again, it will release serotonin, which is a feel-good hormone, which could just give you the boost that you need to help you start feeling better again. So if you've implemented these tips and you are still feeling in a really bleak mindset, or if you've got to a point where you're feeling unsafe thoughts, you're thinking unsafe thoughts, then it's time to reach out to the professionals. There's absolutely no shame in calling your doctor and letting them know you're struggling, or if you've got a care coordinator, just being completely honest and open about your struggles, because they are going to be able to help you. And sometimes when it reaches this point, this is what it is necessary to do to get better. So I would advise that if you find that things are getting too much, that you're in a really, really dark place, then please reach out and get the medical help that you need. I actually used to try and internalize all my problems and deal with them by myself, and honestly, this is just not a good way to do things. It makes it so much harder on yourself. So be kind to yourself and accept the help that's out there. So depending on the severity of your depressive symptoms, that would determine what sort of help you need to ask for. So I'd say if it's like a moderate depressive episode, that would be where friends and family could step in and help. And if it's gone beyond that to a point of severe and worse, anxious, that is when you want to speak to the professionals. So what you want to do is get back connected with people, because what it will help with is make you not feel alone in this, because I swear to you, you're not alone in this battle. We're in this life together, and we're all here to help each other. So in conclusion to this video, I hope out of the 6 tips that I've shared with you today that something resonates with you and sounds appealing, and something that you'll be able to implement into your own life. Now, I fully understand the challenges that depression presents to you, but by following these tips and taking back control, what it does is it gives me positivity, and it also gives me momentum. And momentum is absolutely crucial for progression to getting yourself well again. So like I've already stressed, you want to take things at your own pace. You want to listen to your body and your brain and what they're telling you that you're capable of being able to do. But on the flip side of that, you also want to challenge yourself and push yourself to really work against the depression and get yourself back feeling positive again. So just be realistic. I'm so hoping you found this video helpful. These are tips that have worked for me, so I'm hoping some or all of them will have worked for you too, and will be able to help bring you out of your depressive episode a lot quicker. Please leave a like, comment or subscribe if you did find it helpful. I always find it helpful to read your feedback, and I love seeing messages from you guys. My next video, I think I mentioned this at the start, is going to be tips on how to make yourself happier in life in general, so it should tie nicely in with this video. They're going to be more advanced techniques that will help bring you closer towards your goals. So yeah, if you enjoyed today, please let me know, and good luck with everything, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.